Hello guys, welcome. Now, as professionals, we always have to write documents, right? We always have to write documents, and sometimes we'll have to write essays, reports, and everything. Now, I have seen that in many occasions, people face lot of difficulties in writing these documents. So I thought that I'll try to assist you with some of the key points in writing essays, right? So now when it comes to writing essays, now as an example, let us take some topic, say climate change. Okay, now the first thing is, guys, you should know something about it. If you don't know anything about it, of course you can't write an essay, right? So the first thing that you have to do is you have to search on it. Okay, so what is climate change, how it is going to impact the humans and the planet, and what are the mitigationary measures. So what are the conventions that we have reached, or the agreements that we have reached. After that only we can start writing an essay on climate change. Now, if you really speak about climate change, what is climate change? Now, the climate change is, guys, that some speculate that due to the human activities, there is an overall change in the planet's climate. Okay, there is an overall change in the planet's climate, especially after the industrial revolution in the 19th century. Now there are a lot of that you know that due to the industries and the factories, and due to the emissions, there are a lot of greenhouse gases that the planet cannot cope with. Okay, so people think due to these human activities there is a gradual change of the climate. Okay, so you have to understand this one before writing an essay on climate change. Then the next thing that you have to understand is that climate change is highly controversial. I think you remember the American president, Mr. Donald Trump. He denied the climate change. So nobody can deny the climate change, but he denied the human involvement in climate change. Okay, so that is why we say it is controversial. Some say there is there is an influence by the human activities for the climate change. Some say no, it is uh, because humans can't do anything about it. Like, as an example, now when it comes to the history of the earth, once there was an ice age, then there were some minor ice ages, there was no human involvement, right? So in the same way, some people tend to say this time also climate change does not have any human involvement, but uh, most of the reputed scientists say no, there is human involvement due to these greenhouse emissions, right? So that you have to say that this climate change is highly controversial. So how you can start your essay? You can either you can start it like this. You can say climate change is a highly controversial subject. Okay, that's one thing. Or you can say uh, there is a say how you are going to write. You can say there is a widespread speculation about the climate change of the planet. Okay, or you can say high climate change is highly debated or highly discussed these days in the media. So this is how you are going to start an essay. It's like it should incite the interest of the reader. Okay, so what you are going to tell, then in your next step, so you have to describe what is climate change. Climate change is the gradual change of the planet's climate for the worse. If it is changing for the good, then of course we don't have anything to discuss, right? But the problem is it is changing for the worse. Now as an example, you can say, now there are some protracted droughts. Protracted means extended. Okay, extended droughts, and high intense rainfall. Okay, that's another thing. What else? Then melting of polar ice. Okay, so you have to know these words, right? Otherwise you can't write. And then the intrusion of salt water into uh, the inland. Say this greatly impacts on small islands. Okay, now of course, what is this intrusion of salt water into the inland? Now the thing is, now usually if it is a river flows towards the sea. I mean, the sea does not flow towards the river. Now sometimes due to the low water levels, the ocean starts flowing into the inland. So then there is some soil intrusion. Okay, so you have to know these words. So you can discuss about these things, right? So that is your second phase of the essay. And then on the third phase, you can say what, as humans, what we have done so far to mitigate the adverse effects of the climate change. Now, there are some, there are some crucial steps as a human race that we have taken. One is signing this Paris Agreement, and then sustainable, now to come up with a set of sustainable development goals. And the other thing is that developed countries donating money to the poorer countries to protect the environment and to reduce the greenhouse gases. Okay, carbon trading. Right. So you have to uh, collect these words before writing these things. Now, what is the phase one? You give an introduction about the climate change. So it has to, you have to start the essay uh, with the sentence that incites interest of your reader. Then you have to discuss or describe what is climate change, right? So you can say either it is highly controversial. Okay, of course it's controversial, right? Then in the second phase, you can discuss the ill effects of the climate change, what we expect to happen due to the climate change. Okay, then the third one, we can say what are the mitigation measures we have taken as human race. Then the fourth phase we can say, okay, now we are going to finish the essay, right? You can then finally you can say our objectives and how we are going to fulfill them. So as individuals, what is our responsibility? Now just think about, say, the reduction of plastic usage, and then adapting into a non-motorized transport. So these are the things as individuals that we can do. There are a lot. Okay, and of course, when we go to the town fair or something, so you can have a biodegradable bag or something instead of a plastic bag. There are things, okay, but you have to collect them. Now first, before, because of course when you are going to write an essay, you have to collect the details, you have to collect the words, and then you have to start writing the essay. Okay, okay, then thank you very much.